This once again is just one of those spur of the moment hangouts I decided to post. So welcome, good afternoon. It's the afternoon here in the East Coast of the United States of America. So this chat is called Afternoon Delight. So come on in, say hello. I got a couple hours to kill. Shalom, Reuben. Welcome. Sorry I didn't start it sooner, but I had to. I had to take care of something, so then that's why I was a little delayed. But I think a couple other people out there as well were gonna come on in. Yes, sirree. So I got Ruben in the chat, in the text, in the chat. For those listening over there, how's it going, Ruben? So just make sure nobody out there thinks I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I could probably only hang about 2 hours the most. Then I'm going to the movies with the wife today. So I should be home in a couple hours. Cool. Green Soul and Lindsay are coming. Good. Um, yeah. Gonna go see X-Men today. I hope I like it. I think I will like it. I saw the when I went to see Godzilla, um, and I went to go see it in 3D, and so I saw the coming attractions of X-Men. I saw it in 3D, and it looked really good. Did you see it in 3D, Ruben? What was my favorite X-Men? Yes. My favorite one. How many have there been? I think I might have missed one. Wait a minute. How many are there? I know I saw the first one. I, I know at least I had to see at least two of them. Wasn't there one that just was specifically, hey, J-Dub, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I figured I saw you were on. Just come by, say hello. How are you?
That I am. I am high, yes. How are you?
Hey, you must definitely hide, because that's not what I said. What's going on, man?
I'm talking about we're talking about the X-Men movies. I'm going. I can only stay on a couple of hours because then the wife's gonna come home, and so I'm gonna probably have dinner with her, and then we're going to the movies.
I hear you, the old ball and chain.
No, no, it's a good thing. It's something that yeah, we're trying.
See,
Yeah, yeah, I know. I hear. Says one who is single and's never been married. You've never been married, right?
oh, man.
Okay. But
Oh, Idol, what's going on, man?
Idol
What's up?
Smasher in the room.
Me,
What's up, man?
I had to turn my mic up. Hi, well, how y'all doing?
I'm doing good. I'm talking about I'm going to the X-Men movie, and he just gave me a list. I don't know if you guys see it in chat. Of he wanted to know which one was my favorite. Now, God, there was X1, X2, X3. Wolverine thing. I think I missed Wolverine. Why no. No, I saw Wolverine. That was pretty good. Wow, it seems like I missed
Yeah,
it.
I think the Wolverine one was the only one I saw.
Well, I saw 1 and 2.
Origins? Did you see the Wolverine origin story?
Yeah, the one with
Yeah.
they had the fight at the bar or something. Yeah.
Well, that was there was Wolverine, the one that just came out, but they had the origins of him, like who he was, where he came from.
Yeah, he meets up with like a family. They give him like a motorcycle, and stuff. Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was a good one. Yeah.
I'm so bad, you know. I'm so bad. My memory's so bad when it comes to memory. It comes to things in general.
If you see the new Wolverine movie, it views more like a James Bond film. It's pretty wild. It's a good film. Don't get me wrong. But
Well, I'm going to see X-Men tonight. They have now. This is my I'm this is my little dilemma, and I know I'm being a little bit of a bad boy. See, I saw the X-Men coming attractions when I went to see Godzilla, and I saw Godzilla in 3D. And you know they give you the 3D glasses, which are nice glasses. They're improving. No more paper 3D glasses. So now you know they tease you. Now you're seeing the coming attraction in 3D, and now it's like you got to go see it in 3D. You know. So sneaky me wants to, because Tuesdays if you go see the movie, regular movie, it's only $5. But if you go see 3D, there's no discount. You got to pay full price. So you see where I'm going with this? I want to go sneak into the 3D movie and only pay $5.
oh,
But
remember the old days when you could buy one ticket and go to as many movies as you wanted to?
well, you could still, where I'm at, you could still do that. I did it once. I admit, I did it once. I did go get 2 movies for one. Only because I felt like the first movie just so sucked. I said I'm gonna watch another movie. But I can do that in my theater. And the weird thing is, it's too easy. I guess I'm really being too dishonest. And this, I know, would bite me in the end, right? Karma will get me if I do this.
Maybe.
But you know what? My wife will not do it at all. The good Christian she is, she says, no, I'm not sneaking into the movie. So, you know.
So 2D it might be, huh?
2D it might be, you know. I'm trying to prioritize my monies. But at the same token, it's nice that we're trying to do a regular thing, go on Tuesdays to the movies. It's cheap, it's a night out, we go out together,
Good.
that kind of thing.
My wife and I were actually regular moviegoers till the baby came. We did. It was fun, Made an event of it.
How old's the baby?
Well, I've got, she's 2 now.
Uh-huh.
And we have another one on the way. We just found that out a couple days ago.
Couple of minutes ago?
A couple days ago, yeah.
A couple days ago. Oh, okay.
Congratulations, man.
I'm not supposed to tell everybody yet because we haven't been to the doctor to find out, but it's been like 8 weeks, so yeah.
Okay. Because I actually thought you had a baby already, because you did mention something on, well, I mean, one of the first hangouts I was with you, you were talking about a young one. Or maybe, I don't know.
I call her baby still. She's 2. She's a diva, but I still say baby.
But this new one, you haven't mentioned this at all? Or is this the first one?
Not yet. You guys are the first.
Wow, look at that. What a privilege.
I feel special.
Cool.
Definitely an afternoon delight. So Idol Smash is having another one. Congrats. So you've been pretty busy.
Yes.
Really good.
She wore me out. She wanted another one. She's in her 30s. She wants another one. Damn it. She was going to get it. But she worked me all to hell. I hate to gross anybody out, but afternoon delight, yeah, she wore me out. There was one day, it's like, I'm dead. I will die. There's no essence left in me. I'm about to collapse.
Oh, wow. So you're gonna cut the tubes now, or tie the tubes now?
I don't think so. I don't think she'll wanna. She's already had 2 back surgeries, so she really doesn't want to go back under the knife again.
How about you?
No, hell no.
My brother did. He had 6 kids. He has 5 of his own and 1 stepchild, and that was it. After the 5th one, he got a vasectomy.
I couldn't imagine.
He said, no more. That's it. Especially, yeah.
Wow.
So then I guess you're gonna have to just you're gonna have to put on 2 condoms or something.
Wow.
Double layer. Make sure.
I hell with that. They got old-fashioned way. It's called pulling out.
Right. As long as she gives you permission to spill the seed, right?
Right. Well, yeah. What Ruben was telling me,
All right.
you're allowed to get yourself off if you're married, which I think is perplexing because you think you want to save it all for your wife, but when you're not married, you know. But still, I don't know. I don't always understand Ram Bam and all those guys. Sometimes they say stuff and I'm like, huh? What? That makes no sense, man.
Well, I'm feeling good right now.
Good. I'm having a good day myself.
Did you have to work today, James?
I work tonight. Yeah.
Good night.
Baby's kind of self-governing. She's being good, and she's got to come in here and goof off.
Yeah. Yeah, I had, like I said, I got a couple hours to kill. I figured I'd open up a room. I took care of mostly what I mean, there's always something else that can be done, but took care of the most important stuff for the day, I guess.
Yeah.
Chit chat. I did see a thing. I hope where's Lindsay? I don't know what happened to Lindsay. She was supposed to come in here. I did see something. She posted about an hour ago that she was very bored. So I hope she comes in. Say hello.
I don't know if I've met Lindsay.
Yeah, I just met her the other night. She's up in Canada, I believe. Alberta.
Canada's a great place. Have you ever been?
I've been to Montreal twice. In the '80s. Yeah.
Nice, all nice towns.
Went to the what they had oh God, what's it? There's that main road. I hope I'm not. I don't want to confuse it with New Orleans because I was there too. There's like that main road is French Quarters is New Orleans, no?
Yeah, there's French in New. Yeah.
Well, it's French there, but I'm saying there's French in Montreal. There's a certain strip there, and I forgot. Yeah, I'm probably confusing it. There's like.
Yeah, Montreal, the whole thing would be the French Quarter.
There's a certain area, it's like, it's like New York, say, Times Square, kind of deal.
I haven't been to Montreal.
Yeah, I went there twice, so yeah. So that was cool. And back then, God, okay, this was like the 80s. And back then, I remember gasoline was like twice the price when you converted it to U.S. dollars then. Gasoline was twice the price than it was in the U.S., as well as cigarettes were about twice the price.
You have to pay in loonies?
No, it was dollars. It was dollars then. It was Canadian dollars.
Oh.
Well, loonies and toonies, isn't that what they call money up there?
That's their new, yeah, they had the loon coin, which is $1, and they just, I guess it's been a while now. Jeez, they have a $2 coin, they call them toonies, which has no loon, or tune, but they...
Is this a pretty new currency? Because when I went, it was just Canadian dollars. It was just Canadian dollars.
I guess it was new in the 90s. That's how long ago it is. Jeez, I'm old, I'm older. Yeah, it was a toonie. It was like a silver coin with gold in the middle. And they had the regular, like the loon, which was their dollar coin, and then they have a $2 coin. They called it toonie. So you have a loonie with a loon on it, get it? And they called it toonie. Funny Canadian folk.
Yeah, someone, she was talking about that yesterday, right? We got into talking about the Queen and stuff like that. Because the Queen is on the coins or something, or on one of them.
She's on there, and all the stadiums that we played, she was on the wall. Before we had to listen to the national anthem, "O Canada," and they put the spotlight, the darken the lights, and put the spotlight on a painting of old Queen Elizabeth.
Really?
There on the wall. Yeah,
Wow.
very solemn.
Yeah,
And,
it's still a Commonwealth.
and when were you there, James?
93?
93.
90, no, 97. 97. I spent 3 months up there. We went up through Ontario and went through Quebec as quickly as possible, and then New Brunswick for a while. And we came home through New York,
Mm-hmm.
which was awesome.
Yeah, well then I lived in New York myself, and I think it was about an 8-hour ride to Montreal, if I remember correctly. Hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah,
What's that, Jay?
sounds about right. 8 hours.
Yeah, those are days of my 20s there, and you go with some friends and you go traveling. New Orleans, I remember we did that night. That was like in the around 90s. Did New Orleans, and that was a lot of fun.
Hi, all you happy people.
There's Lindsay Lou. Lindsay Lou, Lindsay Lou. How you do, Lindsay Lou?
It does have a nice musical ring to it. A pretty name.
Yeah. Is that your real? Well, I don't know. We won't ask if it's your real name. We'll go online.
No, Lou's not my last name. It's actually a family nickname that I got when I was a child. I always
Okay.
called someone Linda White, and then she's like, fine, you're going to call me by my last name, I'm going to call you Lindsay Lou. So I go by two new usernames now, Lindsay Barrett and Lindsay Lou, and their childhood names.
Lindsay Lou. It does have a nice melody to it, which can make a nice It sounds like it'd be a good name for a country song.
Country song. Appalachian country.
Okay, let's play a game right now. We're gonna make a song for Lindsay Lou, and I'm going to start off, and then someone's gonna say the next line, and we're gonna try and make this rhyme. How's that sound? Sound like fun?
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's my cue to get some sleep. All right, guys. Yeah, I have to get some sleep.
Too early for you to think?
Yeah, I don't think I could do it, but I do need some sleep.
Well, come on, don't be a wimp.
I've been up since 1, dude.
So what? 1
a.m.
1 a.m. You were supposed okay, so your whole plan to get back into schedule is not doing too well, huh?
And not really.
Who are we gonna blame it on?
Go to the internet at a certain time and then go to sleep.
Come on now, J Dubs, play along. This is for Lindsay Lou. Okay. Ah, what a wimp! He just ran. He just ran, James. What are you smoking?
Nothing.
I hear you. Me too. I'm smoking nothing. Man, now I'm gonna get on J Dubs now. He just left. You know what he just did? He just did the fight or flight thing.
Yep.
He did that. He flew. He flew. He was afraid.
Run away. Run away.
All right, I'm gonna start off the song. This is for you, Lindsay Lou. Here we go. I'm gonna start it off. I got a friend named Lindsay Lou. Next. She doesn't just have one name, she has two.
When
Yeah.
I see her, she got stars in her eyes. And to my surprise. Go, Ruben.
Go, Ruben, by a text. Come on. In his defense. Okay. All right, we'll let Abel go. Abel, come on, for Lindsay Lou. But now, what was it? She has starry eyes, and what was that?
And it ain't no surprise.
She's got starry eyes, and it ain't no surprise. You'll sing after work.
Yep, work.
To be
Oh, my
continued.
baby Lindsay Lou. Don't got one name, she got two.
She
Not
got
a singer or a cantor. Because Ruben's
Oh my.
not good at being.
Just gonna repeat over and over again till there's nothing left but you to sing again.
You'll sing it. So Abel, you're at work now, Abel. You are. You're at work. You know, if you were my employee on a hangout on my time, man, that's a nice job. You could be on Google Hangout while you're working.
That's Green Soul Soupy. He was in my hangout. He's at work too. All these slackers. Do your job.
Yeah, that's why we should make him laugh so hard that he spills the coffee that he's drinking right now. So I wonder what you do, Abel, because I see people behind you. Are you doing like? It looks like you're like in one of those telemarketing rooms. You're not a telemarketer, are you? He's a map maker.
Cool.
Why do we need any more maps? GIS tech. I don't even know what that is, bro. Ah, you work for those evil oil companies. Wow, cool.
Right on.
Petrodollar as good as any dollar? I don't know. I don't know. I think we're going away from the petrodollar. That's why we're going to war in all these countries.
I'm waiting for him to take a drink of coffee because I got a great line, a one line of it.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I'm waiting for Abel to take a drink of coffee. I'm waiting for you to take a drink of coffee, sir. I got a great line. So right when it's starting to go down your throat, I want to say it. I want to see what happens.
He could fake it though. He might
Oh,
fake it.
no.
Go ahead, do it.
Guy goes to the doctor's office. Says, Doc, I got 5 penises. Doctor says, 5 penises. How do your pants fit? He goes, like a glove. Like a glove? 5 penises? No. Oh, ah.
I don't think
Okay.
he heard you.
Tough audience.
Too fast.
I'm sorry. I was rushing. So a guy goes to the doctor's office and says, Doc, I got 5 penises. Doctor said, 5 penises. How do your pants fit? The guy goes, like a glove. Boom, boom, boom.
Ba-dum-bum. 5 penises. Like fucking I got udders. He's got an udder of penises.
There's that one guy overseas, I forget what country, who has 2 penises and he can control both of them.
Wow.
You can control both. Come on, a guy really has 2 penises?
Yeah, like they're 2 fully functioning penises because he uses them both.
Man, the girls must love him. Like, oh, Masturbating is twice as fun as two, I guess. As long as he's got two hands. Oh God. Oh. Oh man, I got to deal with the imagery now.
Whatever.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, so, Abel, what do you know since you make maps of oil wells and pipelines and this whole what was it, the Keystone Pipeline? You had any part in that, or the plans that the plans were they were going to have for that? So Obama threw it out. Obama.
Hey guys, my little girl just locked herself in the garage. She's had a very traumatic experience, so I'm gonna do nap time. So I'm gonna step out for a while. I'll check back in later on.
All right, dude. Later, man. Okay.
And then there was 4.
And then there was 4. And one only does text. Abel can't talk. Let's see who's gonna be next.
Smart doesn't talk either.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said Smart Ruben or whatever you call him now.
Yeah.
Can't talk either.
Yeah, right, exactly. Are you on a head? You have a headset, Lindsay? Because your voice comes in a little grobbly.
I have 2 fans going, plus it's going through my built-in mic on my laptop. So no, that's why it's grovelly.
See if I'll send out another invite. We So anything you want to talk about, Lindsay? Since look, Abel can't talk because he's at work. Ruben doesn't talk. It's me and you, girl. Anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. Like, I came in here because I was essentially bored and didn't want to clean my house.
So you're looking for an excuse not to clean the house, huh?
Yeah, I was in my own hangout, but then Mario invited me into this one. Oh, we have a new person.
Hi, Les. Hi, Les.
Lone Jaw.
Yeah, there's certainly definitely things that yeah, they're like low priority, I guess, things that could be done. I mean, you know, especially you have a house, there's always something that has to be done. And tend to keep pushing it back to get it done, push it back to get it done. What's going on, Hylas? Not much. You're not able. Are you able to talk on the microphone or no?
Sure.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because Abel's at work. He can't talk on the mic now. Reuben doesn't use his mic. And we just lost 2 people. How's your day going, man?
As good as can be expected, I suppose.
How did you expect it to go?
Not that great.
Why?
Well, the one thing in my life that, meant anything to me died yesterday, so
I'm sorry, who died?
my little kitten.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kitten. How old was the kitten?
He was 8 weeks.
Hmm. Now you just had the kitten, or was it like part of a litter you had?
Yeah, it was the one girl out of the litter of 5 kittens, so
Hmm. Well, it gets better, man.
It's hard to go losing pets that are so close to you, even for a short time.
Yeah.
I just euthanized my dog last month. 15 years.
18 years?
15.
15. Yeah. I had I adopted a cat that was about 3 years old, and it was at the time the house I was living in. I was renting an apartment from this old lady, and she just had to go into a home, so she had to give up her cat. So I volunteered to adopt the cat, took her with me. I had the cat then like 13 years in about a couple of different places, and it was fine. But unfortunately, the place at the time I had to move out. I had to stay with my brother for a while, and my brother had a pit bull, so we could not have the 2 animals in the same house, which was unfortunate because my cat was so used to being indoors. And the best we could do is to try to give it our space in the garage, which was kind of being a problem because the garage was not always closed because his kids went in and out, got their bikes and stuff like that. So my cat, from what I saw, and she was starting to lose weight, she wouldn't eat, so she was probably traumatized from the whole move and everything. And besides the dog, there's a bunch of kids. And unfortunately, then one day I found her, lying in the next door neighbor's yard. So yeah, that was, it was tough because I had her for 13 years. And she was a good cat. She was a good cat. But I do have now. I took in a kitten a couple years ago, 3 years ago. Her name's Snowball, so she's about 3. I have her now. She's like, she looks like she's part Siamese, but she's a good cat.
My cat ran away when I was in the hospital. She's probably looking for me. But then I got another cat. His name's Chewy. And he's looking out the window right now. He's almost 1.
Mm. Now my cat stays inside for most of the time. I was reluctant at first to let her out because I'm on about an acre of land, and then I'm surrounded by a bunch of land. So I was always afraid that she was gonna get lost. But I should know better. About, um, but now she'll go out, and I'm not worried about her finding her way back. She knows where she's getting fed. So usually it'll go only so far. People, I don't know about how you guys feel, but I know some people decoy their cats, and I cannot see doing that to a cat. I can't.
Well, they only declaw the front feet. And if you have an outdoor cat, if your cat's indoor outdoor, do not declaw it, because it will die in a
Yeah.
fight. Only if it's indoors, and I only believe in laser surgery because it's too messy and too painful for the cat by scalpel blade. It's already painful by laser surgery. It's definitely unnecessary. Just like debarking a dog.
Hmm. Did you say debarking a dog?
Yeah, you can remove the vocal cords.
Are you serious? People do that?
Most vets don't do it because it's like unethical in their opinion. Like, why have a dog in the first place?
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, why have a dog in the first place? Man, freaking nuts. Yeah, I mean, one of the main reasons I wouldn't declaw my cat is, if she does get outside, she's gotta have a way, defending herself. Besides the pain of, you know, I don't care how much anesthesia you're gonna give the cat or whatever, it's still gonna. I'm sure it's feeling some kind of. They're gonna feel something from it. It's like chopping your fingers off.
Not your fingers, just the tips.
Yeah, the nails. Still, gotta be a purpose for them. Want to take away that purpose? I don't know. Don't have a cat.
My cat likes to eat bugs. I live in an apartment building, he doesn't go outside.
It eat
Or
bugs. My cat's played with bugs and maybe putting them out, but I've never seen her eat it or anything. Plays with them mostly. My other cat I was telling you about, she used to like popcorn. It was interesting watching a cat eat popcorn. I want a dog though. I'm not sure what kind of dog I want. I think maybe like a Labrador.
anyways, I'm gonna go do my mountain of dishes and make something to eat. So,
Yeah, let's go get some housework done now, Lindsay.
yeah, be a good wife, even though I have no wife.
Uh, all right, you have a good day. Thanks for stopping by.
No problem, bye.
All right. Ruben, I did have a Shih Tzu at one time. Um, it was my wife's dog. 'Cause it was her dog before we got married. He was a spiteful bastard though sometimes. I want something bigger. I want something bigger. I want something like, pr- protect me and my family or something like that, protect the home. I want a pit bull really, but My wife doesn't want one. I like the labs. They're beautiful dogs. I don't know how protective they'll be. I don't know. Any suggestions out there?
So, John, you're a deist, yes?
Yes, I guess that's one of the labels.
May I ask why?
I think didn't we talk about this already?
I think we addressed it a little bit, but never really got too far into it.
Yeah, I think it was in chat. We were chatting about it. Yeah. Well, I'm a deist. I think pretty much I told you it was, I mean, I can't prove God to you, you know. I guess,
I don't expect that.
uh, good, good, good. So you're not a strong atheist.
I'm not an atheist at all. I'm just not a theist.
I hear you. Agnostic? What label would you,
No,
what label would you give yourself?
I wouldn't. God, I find God to be completely irrelevant. I ask only to get to know you better.
Oh, okay. Um, I guess, first off, I will say, I would admit, I guess, especially to a strong atheist, I would admit that there's a bias probably on my part because I think I mentioned this in chat, being raised, indoctrinated in Catholicism, and then I was left the faith for a while, left the church, thought everybody was hypocrites, rightfully so I left. Anyway, I think I did what a lot of teenagers do anyway, they rebel. It was my form of rebelling too. And then a couple years, just pretty much in limbo land as far as religion or anything. I had no interest in it. But a girlfriend of mine at the time, she became a Christian, born again Christian. Started getting me more interested in the person of Jesus and stuff like that. I went to a couple of sermons. I was got involved in evangelical, Baptist. I was in different denominations after that, the charismatics and stuff like that. So I guess I have this obvious bias towards a belief in God, I would say. And then a few years ago, upon being on YouTube and stuff, listening to debates and meeting atheists that I never banged. I never ran into an atheist. I was always going to church. So here, people, you start meeting people from all over, different beliefs, different perspectives, even about Jesus. So it started getting me a question about, what I believe in, and that I should, if I'm going to profess to believe in something, that I should know why I believe it. So, yeah, so I deconverted a few years ago. I cannot believe in this Jesus anymore, well, Christianity at least. I'm agnostic about even Jesus existing, but most scholars would say at least he historically existed. But anyway, so I discovered deism, through works of Thomas Paine, reading of Age of Reason, which was part of my deconversion. And but I mean, just upon just observing nature, and then I guess I would go with, the first cause argument or fine tuning and design. I just think there has to, I tend to believe that there's some kind of source that all started it all. Who knows? Maybe it's the dark matter they talk about.
Hey, Brother John, what's up?
Hey, Colin, how you doing? Welcome to Afternoon Delight.
Thank you for the invite.
Not a problem. I have a couple hours to kill. I figure, hey, let me throw up a chat, you know?
Well, I see a lot of new people there. Hi all. Abel, I thought you were dead. Um, sorry, I couldn't go there. I had to go there. Yeah. All right. Where the hell's Kane when you're looking for him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's probably heard that 100 times.
I know. DN, hi, we've never met. Hylas, we've never met. Ruben, we've met before. So.
Just so you know, Abel's at work, so he can't participate in the chat.
So this is sort of a surreptitious chat there. Okay, that's fine. I've done those before. Hide it behind an Excel spreadsheet or something, you know.
We do have Hylas there. He's chatting. He wanted to know why I'm a deist, so it's explaining the whole process. So pretty much my beliefs are evolving, Hylas. You know, I'm looking into I'm reading the Tao Te Ching. Listening to lectures by Alan Watts and getting, about Zen thought and stuff like that, which Eastern thought really, that intrigues me. Kind of resonate towards that, Yeah.
What's everybody else's background, if you don't mind me asking?
Hylas, I believe he said he's agnostic, I'd say. Abel, yeah, he's got his term infotheist, which is a new one on me. That's definitely new. That's like me I call myself a biblical atheist. Colin, I think we lost you. You trying to talk? Or
No. I was reading on the side while they were correcting themselves there.
Oh, okay. Apatheist. I have to look that up. What is that, Hylas?
Is that sort of I don't give a shit? Like apathetic theist or
Oh, good. That's right. He doesn't care if there's a card or not. No, you're right. So you okay.
Yeah, I'm just a plain old atheist. I was a born again Christian for 25 years, for a long time, and I've been an atheist for about that same amount of time. So, but I'm always looking to take on a new moniker. So if we can think of a different word, it works for me.
So you're an atheist for 25 years now, really?
Give or take 25, yeah.
And you're a Christian for 25. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, to put the numbers. Put the numbers there. I guess I became a Christian when I was 14, 15, somewhere in that neighborhood, and stayed such for, so 24, so 30, 24, 34, yeah, around 40-ish. That's about right, 38, 40, somewhere in there. And then I'm 60 now, and so I've been an atheist roughly since then. A little transition time in between, but. Yeah.
Now, when you were a Christian, were you like in the same denomination, or did you like kind of church hop?
A bit, initially at least. I was raised Lutheran, right? And my parents are sort of the traditional, go to church on Easter, Christmas, drag me along, make me go to Sunday school. But then when I became, what current Christians, I guess, would refer to as a born-again Christian, that was like 14, 15. The first hop was sort of to the evangelical Lutheran church next to us, as opposed to the Missouri Synod Lutheran Church where I was raised, because they had a cooler youth pastor. But from there, then ended up going to an independent Baptist church for several years. But my primary, I would say, or the bulk of that time, was spent with a group down in the D.C. area, Maryland area, called Gathering of Believers. C.J. Mahaney, Tom, God, I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of the guy's name now. Larry Tomczak. There we go. It's C.J. Mahaney. My brain was blending the two. And they're still big in the evangelical movement. And they go around and set up a lot of churches. And that was that was closer to a Pentecostal or a charismatic church. So that's where I spent most of my time. In any case. So a little church hopping, yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. I will say I miss the community aspect of it, the socializing. You know, I do miss that. We've done some really, pretty cool trips and barbecues and outings and stuff like that. I miss that aspect of it.
Well, I think I did for a while, and I to be self-deprecating here a bit. I think part of that was, look at me, right? I wasn't getting the most dates in high school and in college, so I wasn't the guy that could go sit in the bar and the women would go, ooh, check him out. That never happened. Well, it did, but they didn't mean that in a good way. And so, and so a lot of my social my social life was church folks. So I think that when I did leave the church, I did miss that initially. Although I think maybe I missed it really for maybe 2, 3, 4 years. But after that passed, if you will, at least for me, it sort of opened up a whole new world of people and friends, and I actually found myself with a wider variety of friends, I think, now than I had then, and I don't know that that was my intent. I think it just kind of played out that way. So now I have people that I consider friends that are Christians. I have people that are, deists that are friends. I have people that are atheists and agnostics that are friends. I have one Wiccan friend, only one, but that's okay. I just think there's a paucity of Wiccans in my area.
Is this in your 3D world?
What's that?
This is in the 3D world I'm talking about.
Yes. No. Okay. Well, there was a mix there. The only deist I know is, besides yourself, is Shanna. So the only people I know that are deists are on Google. My Wiccan friend is a 3D person, and my atheist friends I have on both sides of the fence, and my Christian friends I have on both sides of the fence.
So now, okay, so you became an atheist nearly 25 years ago. This is way before any internet. Did you seek out other atheists, or because it doesn't seem like there were many atheist organizations back then that I can recall.
Well, no, you mean when I went through that transition period?
Yeah, when you went through a transition, and you kind of feel. I'm sure some Christians didn't want to associate with you. I'm sure some still are your friends. But when you're looking for like-minded people, did you go seek out any?
No, not that no.
Yeah.
And I think it's for exactly the reason that you said. I think, 25 years ago, so we're back in the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there. The internet wasn't anything to speak of. We also had dial-up modems and bulletin boards. So as far as in person. No, I really didn't. Although I'm trying to go back and put the years to this now correctly. I think on my way to becoming an atheist, if you will, I was in the military, and so I certainly met people there that of all persuasions. But no, once I actually made the break and I was out of the military and I made the break from Christianity as well, it took a while to actually start. Coming across like-minded people.
Now I'm finding that a challenge for me. I guess that's why I like enjoying the chats and everything. I find that a challenge where I'm at, because most people that I know around here are churchgoers. My wife, she's a Christian, so she's going. I go hang out and have dinner or barbecues with them once in a while. But as far as any kind of deep friendship, it's.
Well,
those people, they don't live near me. I have a friend, he's in New York. Rarely see him. We talk on the phone and everything, but just to be able to hang out and have a beer with a couple of people,
Well, I think the problem, at least for me, and maybe I don't know if it's a universal problem or not, but I think it's. I have people that are still friends that are Christians. I think that for me the issue becomes. That it seems that, and I'm guilty probably of this as well. I'm thinking this through as I'm going to say this, but I think that every conversation always ends up the same. So it's like I can't just go out and have fun with them, and have a good time,
without talking about the Bible.
without feeling like I'm going to be converted at some point this evening, right? And now some of them are better than others, granted, some of them are, but I think I create my own problem. I think because I enjoy philosophy, I enjoy mental problems and puzzle solving and just exploring ideas about morality and philosophy. So I think I bring it on myself sometimes in those conversations, because once you go down that road, well, what do you expect? That's where it's going to go. So. And it's not entirely bad. Like as an example, tomorrow is Wednesday. Every Wednesday I go to Starbucks. Well, Panera's here. It's like a Starbucks. I go to Panera's.
I got those around here.
Okay, and there's a women's Bible study that meets every Wednesday morning, right? And these women are all in their 50s, 60s, and up, right? It's a group of about maybe 12 women, and they're there every Wednesday morning. They read some Christian literature and they discuss it, and they have a little prayer meeting. And it would start off with I was just sitting there, and now we've all become good friends, and so they tease me about being an atheist, and they're going to pray for me, and I tease them about believing in mysterious invisible people in the sky, and I think for the most part we get along really well. I mean, we never don't get along. We get along fine, but I don't think for a moment that when I turn my back that they're probably, I know they're praying, I know they're diligently praying for me, right? They certainly believe that I'm missing out, and I'm going to burn in hell, and they feel sorry for me, because I'm an atheist, and there's nothing I can really do about that to change.
Wait, Colin, can I interject here for a second?
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of chuckling to myself. Wait, because you said now there's Wednesday morning at Panera Bread. There's a women's Bible study. Now I'm assuming that one Wednesday morning you went in there and got coffee, but now you kind of like purposely go there every Wednesday and invade this women's Bible study.
I do. Guilty as charged.
And they're around your age.
Right. Well, it started off with them. I was reading a book one day. This is how it started. I was reading a book one day, and I happened to be sitting at the adjacent table. I'll get this right because it was a two. I know what it was. They were discussing. I had a book, but they were discussing a book and they were reading it, and I could overhear the conversation, and I think they were talking about faith and works. They were talking about James versus Paul, and I was listening kind of to the discussion as I was reading my book, and there was a point where I just had to. I like to talk. I had to interject my opinion, right? Because I thought, well, I can solve this problem real easily. Right. So I asked them. I said, "Do you guys mind if I chime in?" And they didn't know I was an atheist at that point. And like, no, sure. And so I interjected. I put on my little Christian hat, and I interjected my thoughts on their Bible study. And they were like, "Oh, that's really good. I never thought of that way." And that was on. And so there were a couple of weeks there where I had always been going there on Wednesday. So there were a couple of weeks where they kept saying, "Oh, hey, Carl, how you doing?" Blah blah blah, and we'd have a good time. Well, about a month of that, they asked finally.
You're an atheist all this time, right?
One of them finally asked me. I knew the question. I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, right? There's a church every 3 feet. So I knew the question was going to get there eventually. So they finally somebody said, "Well, what church where do you attend church, Carl?" And of course, that was like, well, and I tried to, squeak by. I said, well, I don't attend any particular church here, and of course they was like, well, haven't you found one that you like? And I was like, no, I can answer that honestly and say no. Like no, and they're like, oh, well, you need to come to our church. You need to come to the, and of course then at that point I kind of had to say, I'm an atheist, guys. I thank you for the offer, but no, thank you. And then it was like, oh my God! But we have a nice dialogue. So every now and then they ask me questions about atheism, or they ask me what I think about something, in the Christian side of the fence. And we talk respectfully.
Colin?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
What's that?
It's kind of funny. I mean, I don't know where their stance was on like spiritual gifts and stuff like that, but like one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit was to discern whether, especially when you're discerning spirits and discerning whether someone's a believer or not.
Yeah, well.
Apparently it wasn't going on here because since you were able to tell them so much stuff about the Bible, they were on the assumption you were a Christian.
The Holy Spirit was having a bagel and coffee at the time. I see, Deanne, I saw your comment there. Yeah, I'm actually in Hickson, so I'm not sure where you are, if you're in Cleveland or Saudi or Hickson or somewhere else, but welcome to Chattanooga. Maybe you can join me at Panera's one morning.
You're in Tennessee?
But
You're in
I'm
Tennessee?
sorry. I'm sorry. What? Tennessee. Yep.
Are you anywhere near Memphis?
No, Memphis is probably about 5 hours away, 5 hours west.
Okay. If I
So
was
I'm an hour and a half north of Atlanta.
So let me ask you this,
Yeah.
because I've been wanting to make a trip towards Memphis because I have a dear friend. I've lost contact with him. I have no way of getting in touch with him.
Hmm.
And last time I know where I have his address in Memphis, and I'm at the point where and I haven't found the time though to do the trip. I'm at the point of just going down there and finding out what happened to him.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering from PA, are you on the way there?
Well, if you're coming all the way from Pennsylvania, I suppose I could be. I'd have to look at a map. Which end of PA are you on? You
I'm in
Philly or Pittsburgh or?
And northeast side.
Okay, so you're like Bethlehem up that way, or I guess
Yeah.
that's not, okay. Um, I think so. Again, I'd have to look at a map, but I would imagine there's probably some north-south route that's going to take you through Nashville. And I think you have an option there. I think you can Nashville. You can go southwest toward Memphis, or you could come straight down to Chattanooga, then go directly west toward Memphis. So yeah, I mean, I don't think the mileage would make any much of a difference one way or the other. Might be a little bit longer. But you know, if you are going to be in the neighborhood, let me know. I'd be
Definitely.
pleased to have a cup of coffee with you, or you can stop over and we'll have a barbecue. And I promise I won't try to convert you to anything.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, I'll take you up on that. Maybe if I'm down there as well, and there's I don't know if you know Jordan Day. He's in Georgia, and I know him.
Yeah.
Me and him, I met him. We were both going through our deconversion process at the same time. We were, became like fellow deists and stuff. And I've talked to him on the phone, and we've done a number of chats and stuff. But to see him face to face would be great too.
Well, that would be fun. I'm watching Abel here. I'm going to take a stab in the dark, Abel. Are you a computer programmer? Because that intense look at the monitor looks like you're programming there. I could be wrong, but
He's a map maker.
he's laughing.
He's a map maker, Carlton.
Oh, he's watching YouTube. Oh, okay. So we got Google Hangout on one screen and porn on the other. Okay, that's fine.
He doesn't have his headset on. That's
Hey, Lindsay. Everybody hates. Oh, hi.
They hate your computer. Well, you need able to build your new one.
I hate my computer. I don't hate my computer. I hate my I almost said my obstetrician. That's not what I meant. My optician. He can't seem to make me right glasses. I've just come back from like the 5th time. I still can't see the screen quite right. So I'm like, good light. Can't you guys? How hard is this to make a pair of glasses? But anyway.
How long have you been seeing this guy?
Oh no, this is 2 different ones. I've seen 2 this week, and they both give me. And so I've got 3. I've actually got 4 different prescriptions from 2 different guys in the same week. None of them are right. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell to do.
And they're doctors, right?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm like, really, just let me take the damn machine home, and I'll let you know. I'll play with it myself, and I'll figure it out. But anyway.
That's why it's called a practice.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess I'll just have to live with them for another 5 years and then try again. When they don't remember my name anymore. No, but your brother. You're one of the few guys. Actually, everybody in this room, at least I know so far. There are a few people on Google Hangouts that I really enjoy talking to. The conversations are civil, they're fun, they're interesting. Nobody gets worked up into a lather if you disagree with them. So I think that's the thing that keeps me coming back here, is that there are a core group of really nice people, and they're fun to talk to, and then there are the idiots, and I hate to call people that, but I can't really think of another word that applies. I
hear you.
Hi, Art. How you doing?
I try to run a good civil room, and have some good convo. God, I was touched just the other night. I won't get into names. It's not necessary, but we had a chat, and then we went off air for a number of hours, and we really, it got personal, but it was really good. I thought, it was more. It got really down to earth, practical, day-to-day living, and instead of the the great debate that we're always, getting involved in. And I mean, pretty much how everybody probably met, but it got deep. It got deeper than that. It went beyond philosophy and actually into practice.
That sounds like Joe was there. Joe's a big one for community and sort of the how our philosophy works out in real life and what we do with it. So.
Yeah, it was good. Very good.
Oh, we were talking today with I was talking with Ilana and sorry, I know the other guy and I'm drawing a blank at the moment. Forgive me if you're watching. But we were talking about free will, but not from the usual, perspective. But we were talking about it in terms of, is it free will? What does free will mean? And we're talking about this idea of if somebody constrains the number of options that you have, but you're free to choose from those options that you get, is that still free will? So in other words, if there's a blue, red, and a yellow door, okay, that exists somewhere, all right, and you go into that room, and God hides the yellow door from you. It's not an option. You can't see it, but it's there. But God says, okay, you can pick the red one or the blue one, and you're free to pick whichever one you want. Is it still free will if somebody has artificially constrained the options? As opposed to, let me do the other side to that, as opposed to a natural constraint. So a natural constraint might be, I see a tiger coming, so I can either choose to run, I can choose to stand still, but I can't choose to fly away unless I'm a bird. So there's an option there that's not on the table because it's simply not a possible thing to do.
Well,
so that's sort of a natural constraint. But if it's artificially constrained, is it still free will?
So I mean, are you asking that if I'm unaware of a choice, is it still? I mean.
Yeah, if you're right, if
I'm lacking an option.
Yeah, for God, we'll use him as sort of the puppet master here. So if God reduces the number of options from what could be available to you, in other words, they're viable options. They're not something that you simply couldn't do anyway. But he takes them off the table or hides them from you. Or
well, how do I know they're there if you already said I'm unaware of it?
Right. Well, yeah. No. That's a really good point. You don't know that they're there. That's true. You don't. So you add to that room and all you're gonna think that's there is a red and a blue.
Right.
Okay.
But you want me to be paranoid about a yellow?
Here's what the conversation came down to, and I think it came down to a definition of free will, and that the person who is arguing against me, for Ilana, I shouldn't say against me, but I agreed with what Ilana was saying. She was saying free will means the ability to independently choose from a selection of available options. So for her, it didn't matter if God reduced the number of options, even if there were 1,000 and God only gave you 3. You are still free to choose from among those 3. And I agree with her as far as she went, but I think in Christianity, the concept of free will implies more, that the concept of free will is used to justify God passing judgment on us for our choices. And if that's the case, then what if? And here's what she said. I should back up a little bit. She proposed this hypothesis. She said that if God was really good, that when he created man with free will, he simply could have tweaked, if you will, our desires in our brain so that we would never desire to choose evil, even though it was there as an option, that we would never desire to choose it, okay? We would always choose good, okay? And so my question was, well, is that really free will? And she says, well, sure, because even though you can't choose the evil option, God is allowing you to choose from all the good options. But from my perspective, I'm saying, well, but if that's the basis for justifying God punishing us or not, then it seems like we need to be, that there's an implication there that free will means that I can determine my own fate. And if I'm going to be able to determine my own fate, I have to have all the available options open to me. If I've got God who's arbitrarily tweaking my brain to reduce my choices, well, he's effectively controlling me. I don't have free will in the sense of in a sense that would allow God to justly punish me for my choices if he's basically forcing me down a particular path anyway.
It reminds me of a non-stamp collector video where he was making the point about this. The father tells his son, "Yeah, this is your room. You can paint this room any color you want, but it has to be orange."
Yeah, I never did reduce to it.
Or else you're going to be, eternally punished for it. But you can paint it any color you want.
Oh, I see, Ruben. Hey, Ruben, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't updated the latest copy of WoW either. I'm debating. It seems like it's gone downhill, but sorry. I'll take my 190 hunter and go somewhere else. We all need to do. I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments here. All right.
I'm not paying attention to the chat.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to keep up here with both. But yeah, it's I just find it interesting, and I get beat up by theists all the time, in terms of, well, you don't believe in God. Why do you spend so much time talking about him? What does it mean, And I'm like, well, I don't. I wouldn't talk about him. As soon as you guys stop, I'll stop. But I'm like, but if you're gonna put that proposal out there and say that this is what it means to be God and this is what our God is like, then I think
you can't say that you're not in a room full of atheists talking about it.
Yeah, it's like it's fair game at that point. It's like if you say something that I disagree with, yeah, it's like don't complain to me.
Yeah, but you kind of ask for it coming out on the chats, right? Don't we all ask for it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely, we really do. And I laugh at people, that are like, people. I'll comment on posts, right? I'll make some snarky comment, and somebody will say, "Well, that's pretty rude. Why do you have to comment? Why do you have to leave those negative comments?" Well, is there some rule on Google that says I can only leave a positive comment? If you don't want people to comment, disable comments. If you don't, or don't make it public. If you make it public and you enable comments, then shut up and take what you get.
Well, as a deist, I'm going to take the middle road and say that we have limited free will.
See, this is where I have this okay, deism. See, now this is where deism and this is where I can't get my arms around it. I mean, I understand the concept of it, but with Christianity at least, right? You have, as much as there's differences in different Christians as far as doctrines go, there's some semblance of order, right? There's some consistency in doctrine. There's a lot of variance, but there's some consistency. I can kind of paint a picture of what it means to be a Christian. I can't paint a freaking picture of what it means to be a deist, because every person I meet that's a deist is totally unique in their belief set, and there's almost no overlap with any other deist, and it's almost like every deist is a one-off.
That's why you atheists are frustrated by us.
It is, I'll tell you.
No, you gotta believe in the God that I can at least have some kind of argument with, based on some kind of.
Thank you. Exactly. Now you understand my level of frustration. It's just like, oh my, can we just deism? Fine. Can we pick a god and move on? I mean, could we at least give me
a great shirt? Deism.
Give me a freaking definition, right? And so we have our infotheist over there, right? Who's got sort of God and I'm not quite sure what an infotheist is. So I have this really fuzzy, vague mental kind of imagery of what it might be. So I got an infotheist out there. I've got you. I've got Shanna, who has this non-interventionist, orderly, sort of a god, but he's not an interventionist, so we can't really know anything much about him. Then I got other people that are deists that have gods that do intervene, when it's Wednesday and it's cold outside, and I just can't get a handle on I like the Takati poster. That's nice.
What's going to happen here, Cotton? You know what's going to happen? You're going to have the very thing we complain about in Christianity, about having 30,000 different denominations. You're going to have the same thing going on with deism and atheism.
Oh, I know. Well, atheists have been doing the same thing to me lately. It's like, atheists used to have some sort of a relatively consistent meaning. Now, even the atheists are all over the board, So it's like, well, I'm a pragmatic atheist, but I'm actually an agnostic because I don't know. But I think you could be a deist. And I had somebody else, they tell me they were a Christian atheist. I'm like, huh?
Yes, I
And-
heard
and-
that.
yeah. I'm like, wait, what? And so
I was a Christian deist.
see
I was
there.
a Christian deist for 1 month.
Yes.
Because I was just when I was deconverting, and I came across, I saw deism. I don't know, it was through a Google search. I saw Christian deist. I was like, wow, that's interesting. That might be something to look at. It
I wanna-
lasted only a month because after I was like, no, this.
I have you know what we need to do is we need somebody to we need a phone app where you can type in what your belief is, and then it will generate a new word for you for that belief, and then that's what you are. Okay, don't steal everybody else's word. That word is just you. So at least we'll know what everybody is, and the meanings don't shift every
The
hour.
problem with that is that fundamentalist Christians would start calling the app as designed by Satan or possessed by Satan, because they're saying shit like Catholics are a Christian, for example.
Well, and again, yeah, you're right. I mean, and again, it depends, but you're right. I mean, there are a whole bunch of Christians, right, on the Protestant side, who have no problem with saying Catholics are Christians, just like we are. Then you have a whole other group, more of the evangelical Southern Baptist types, who will say, the more radical ones will say, well, Catholicism is not Christianity. Let's forget the whole idea that there wasn't anything but the Catholic Church for centuries. But that aside, they'll say, well, they're not, and so. Even the Christians can't decide who amongst the other Christian groups are really Christians. Remember when Romney was running for president, everybody was debating about, well, are Mormons Christians? So then, the Mormons wanted to be seen as Christian because obviously, it carries a lot of political weight if you are. And then the evangelical Christians were saying no, they're not, because their theology is different. And the Mormons were saying yes, they were, and everybody in between had an opinion. Yeah, it just goes crazy. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, one of the issues I tend to get bogged down with this idea is like the Catholic Church isn't Christian. Is that normally I ask them this, okay? So how exactly do you account for Catholicism's existence, if not for the fact that they are an outgrowth of proto-Orthodox debates and heresies?
Ask that question again, Devin. Sorry.
I said if Catholics aren't Christian, then how do you account for their origin being outside of the early proto-Orthodox heresies and debates?
Well, I mean, they are there, but I think that the people that would say that they're not would say that they would look at doctrinal issues, and they would view it from a Protestant perspective, and they would say, well, salvation is by faith through grace, and it's not works. Whereas the Catholic Church wants to include works, in your road to salvation. Therefore, they treat that as heretical in the same way that the Catholic Church, treated non-Trinitarian theology as heretical. So they want to define what it means to be Orthodox Christian, and everybody else can go play in a different sandbox.
Yeah, well, one of the problems with that, of course, is that normally I respond to by the fact that we know that the earliest Christians didn't necessarily see Jesus as God, and we know necessarily that there was some very early contemporary Christians, for the most part, who saw Jesus not as an earthly being, but more or less as a celestial Messiah, if you would. Yet we still call these people Christians because they're an outgrowth of the belief that Jesus Christ brings forth a means and/or message of salvation.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that there's some argument, on all those sides, and I think that the thing that Christians need to remember is when you talk about like the Catholic Church, and you talk about the different councils that canonize the scriptures. These were political. These were political infights. There were groups that had virtually every variation of belief about who Jesus was that we have still today. It was just that the Catholic Church, to organize around a set of principles, or Paul even to consolidate a group, said, well, we are declaring that this view is heretical and that view is heretical, and in the same process of putting together the canon, we're going to exclude this book because it supports those guys. So we're only going to include the books that support our position, and therefore...
And we're also
Christians need another Constantine.
As well. There's also a process of editing the books that they did that they also accepted as well to get rid of what looked like supporting heresies. They only want to support them, so they changed a few verses here and there in John. You can actually see this in the Western text. for theological purposes to prevent heresies from springing up and shit like that.
We-
So yeah, you have that problem too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there certainly is. I think any person that reads that would have to admit. I mean, even if you look at the Gospels and forget Pauline theology, you look for example at Mark, and you look at the end I want to get this right. The ending to Mark. The actual ending was appended. The original ending was very plain and was very bland, and it missed a lot of things that the other Gospels had. So then we add a little ending. Somebody else, the next guy to write the story, kind of buffs it up a little bit, fleshes it out. But yeah, it's. My question to Christians has always been, and I never have gotten a good answer from them, is that when you talk about inspiration, the scriptures are inspired. I said my argument is never whether or not the writers were inspired. To me, that's a moot point. Let's assume that they were. My question has been, what it seems that Christianity is really doing is they're not arguing for inspiration of the writers. What they really have to argue for is inspiration of the guys who decided which books were inspired. And if you're going to do that, then you've got there's an offshoot of Christianity. It's a Christian church. It's called Tawido. It's a North African Christian church. Has its roots go all the way back to with the Catholic Church. They have a canon that has 88 books in it, okay, as opposed to our 66, more than just Apocrypha. And my question to the Christians is, well, why is it that those extra books, those 22 extra books, are not canonical? On what basis do you say they are not canonical? And I had one Christian, actually not the only one, who says, well, it doesn't really make any difference. If it doesn't contradict the theology of the other 66, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, to me, this is an absurd position for a Christian to take. Because if you believe that God inspired those, and if you believe God was trying to communicate to humanity, then it would seem like each and every book would be equally important, and you would be scrambling trying to make sure you had every single one that was inspired. And all of them would be important. You couldn't just wash away a third of them and say, I don't care about those. I got the ones I like. But none of them ever have an answer for that. It boils down to you were raised in this country, you were raised in a Protestant or Catholic, but with a Protestant or Catholic background, or that's what the environment is. So that's the books you accept, and you've never taken 2 seconds. Usually until I mentioned it in a conversation, you didn't even know the book existed. So, yeah, it becomes sort of silly at that level, I think. Everybody's here. Hey, James.
For Protestants to say that Catholics are not Christians, it's like saying your mother is not your biological mother. I mean, you wouldn't have your secular denomination if it wasn't for Catholicism or Eastern Orthodox.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for God, I'm drawing a blank. What was his name? Constantine. If it wasn't for Constantine, I seriously doubt. I mean, I know Christians would disagree with me, but I seriously doubt if Christianity would be any more popular now than Zoroastrianism is. I mean, it would have been, I think, a passé religion.
And you have to trust, and now they have to trust that Constantine was directed by God to invite the right bishops,
Sure.
to come to some kind of consensus. So now, and we all know Constantine, he still worshipped pagan gods. He wasn't really a man of noble character, and this is who you're really trusting that God was able to, guide by the Spirit.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget that that in terms of the religions he was actually considering for state religion, Mithraism was actually one of those. Mithraism had been a state religion, but I think by about 2 preceding emperors before him. So if he had kept that tradition on, there's a possibility that Christianity would not become as popular as we were. This is something that most people don't get.
Well, I mean, this was all. Yeah, I mean, all of that. I think all of this true, and all of this certainly, I think makes good fodder for Google Hangouts. But I think in the end, it all is superfluous. I think that whether you can debate whether the Bible supports slavery, for example, until your hair falls out, which I've done, but I think in the end, it becomes down to, is there any justification for this belief that there is some sort of an extra or supernatural. I hate the word supernatural, but is there justification for this belief that there's this being out there? that kickstarted the whole thing. And I think if you can't firmly establish that, well, everything else flows from that. So if this is, I'll use Jesus' own analogy here, right? A house built on the sand. Was that Jesus or was that Paul? It was Jesus. A house built on the sand. It has no foundation. So if you can't establish reasonably that this being exists, then anything that flows from that has to be at the very least equally shaky. If not more so. It doesn't get more secure.
Exactly, because what turns out is you're not really worshiping a God in spirit. You're worshiping a Bible. You're worshiping a book. That's what you're totally relying on. That's what your faith is in a book. That's what it comes down to.
Well, I myself, I prefer instead of arguing the question of whether or not God exists, because to be perfectly honest, I'm kind of fed up with that debate. I mean, I'm like getting like 20. I'm going to be 28 this month, and I've been debating this subject for since I was like 19 or 20. So we're almost going about 10 years, and it's always the same fucking argument. So it's really just kind of bored me to death now. But I'll probably come back to it at a later time. But what I prefer to discuss, rather than those types of topics with people, is more or less like the peculiar ideas and notions floating around scholarship that introduce topics. So, like, for example, what was his name? Hold on for a second. Oh yeah, Carlton. Carlton mentioned something about Mark, the long ending of Mark. Well, the interesting thing about Mark, I'm not too sure if you know this, but there's a scholar named Robert M. Price. He's actually proposed that the chronology of the events that Mark says and tells and narrates is actually reversed in the end. In other words, Jesus' story, that he proposes that the Gospel of Mark starts with the resurrection of Jesus, and then after that, it starts by Jesus telling others to essentially go on and preach his mission, and from then on, you have the rest of Mark go on. And then it sort of ends with Jesus ascending into heaven. That's an interesting type of textual theory. I don't know if he's published this anywhere else, but he does discuss it in one of his books. I'd have to be able to find it. I think it's in Deconstructing Jesus, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's a very interesting one. What do you guys think about that one?
Well, okay, there was a lot there. So what is his premise about Mark?
His premise about Mark is that the ending with Jesus' resurrection actually started the gospel itself, and then it sort of went on to him commanding his disciples to preach out and to go do this set of missionaries by finding by finding these people, and it ends with him ascending into heaven.
If I'm going to check, if I remember correctly, I don't think the resurrection is in Mark.
Resurrection's in Mark. It's just the ascension and the longer parts of Mark isn't necessarily indicated. But basically, it's like this. Mark has. This is what Price says. Mark has Jesus rising from the grave. He exits the tomb, and then he goes out to tell, and then he tells the women to go and tell his disciples. They don't tell anyone, so Jesus has to go on this sort of journey, if you would, to find the disciples, bring them together, engage in miracles, and so forth and so on. And then one of the things that the resurrection kind of, the resurrection narrative at the end kind of cut off was this ascension into heaven. I'm not too sure if he's published it anywhere else, but it's pretty interesting. If you want to look the guy up, his name's Robert M. Price, and I believe he first proposed this in Deconstructing Jesus in the year 2000. I have the book. I can try and find.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Robert Price when he was arguing against the Jesus. So I'm aware of him. I haven't read anything of his, but I did see an interview or a couple of videos. I went to his he has a blog or something. I remember listening to a couple of his
podcast,
radio shows. Yeah, his podcast. Yes.
Yeah, they call him the Bible geek, and he's really up on the Bible, the Old and New Testament. Plus, he's up on a lot of the older religions. A lot of times, he'll compare the older religions to the Bible and what things the Bible might have borrowed from these older religions. The man is bloody brilliant. Boring to listen to, but he's brilliant.
Yeah, I believe he also co-hosts or hosts the Human Bible as as well. There's a podcast on that, so that's pretty interesting. It discusses the Bible from a humanistic perspective. I kind of view Robert M. Price as the as what you would call the walking, talking encyclopedia of religion.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Carlton's kind of looking that up right now, huh?
I'm sorry. No, I was. Yeah, I was just reading the last chapter of Mark. I was just.
Yeah, that's what I was doing too. Yeah, no, I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Notice the last couple of verses in it about the snakes and the poison.
Yeah, that
Those
was
were added later.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting actually. If you I did some reading on that, and it actually seems to be about a 50-50 split amongst the theologians as to whether this was an add-on or whether it was not. It seems to me, I'm not a biblical scholar in that sense, but it seems to me that it's plausible. It seems to ring true. That it seems like this is sort of that somebody fleshed this out to be sort of more in line with the other Gospels. It creates a more complete story afterwards. They say the longer ending starts at verse 9. So basically, the chapter, the shorter version, ends with the women that went to the tomb, and the angels told them that Jesus is risen, but they were too scared, didn't tell anybody anything, and that's the end. It just stops, which seems sort of an odd ending to me anyway. But
yeah, okay. So my question. So I have two questions. Number one, when you say theologian, do you mean as in everyone who studies the Bible on this issue, or are you talking about like just theologians as in people who've gotten degrees in theology?
no, I'm talking. Well, no, in this particular case, I'm talking about people that I think are fairly well respected, both within Christianity and outside of Christianity. I mean, some are liberal, some are more conservative, but it seems to be that the split, as far as who thinks this is an add-on and who thinks it's not, is not along liberal conservative lines. It seems to be that there's a genuine disagreement among scholars as to whether this is,
I
a
get
faulty
you.
entry. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
The next question I have to ask is this is more or less like an issue for textual criticism, because this ends the deal on that. How many of those people who tend to disagree with that specialize or engage in heavy textual critical studies? Oh, and I've got a phone call, so hold on for a second.
Okay.
Hello?
In the meantime, Adam, are you there?
I'm actually going to step out of the room here shortly anyway. I don't know.
Take care, Carlton.
Thank you. Well, I'm not going quite yet. I mean, don't try and throw me out the door there. Abby.
Yeah, not so fast.
I just said it's coming. It's coming. I'm giving you a warning.
I am here.
Oh,
Hey,
excellent,
Adam.
Adam. Hey,
Hey, Adam. Hi, Ari. How you doing?
yeah. If I might ask a question to Adam. Adam, do you know what happened to Brett Keane? He apparently got it kicked off of YouTube again. What happened?
Losing his channel again?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know any details about it.
Oh.
It was quick, right? It was like...
Yeah. Too much of an amusement of many atheists and theists alike.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Sorry.
It's just that you commonly are along with him, so I thought you might.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No, I didn't hear anything funny though. I was because I didn't subscribe to the channel. I know it was about a month ago. I know he was on here with J Dubs and we were talking about his new approach to going about things, and he started God TV something on YouTube. So is that the channel you're talking about? The most recent one?
Yeah.
If anyone knows anything, it might be J Dubs who probably knows something.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious. Never mind.
Okay. All right. I will be stepping. I opened up this room just technically for a couple hours. Kill some time. I guess about 20 minutes or so. Expecting my wife to come home. We're gonna have some dinner and gonna go see X-Men tonight.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, am I misreading something, or the new Sherlock, right? The new season of Sherlock, are the last like 3 episodes nothing but sort of documentary about Sherlock in season 3?
Don't watch the show.
Does anybody else follow Sherlock?
Ruben said yes.
Okay, so what kind of crap is that? That's a cheap way to to do a season. What, it's like no more episodes this season. Would the writers go on strike or something?
They always,
That is strange.
don't they? They usually, I mean, for the main shows, they end the season before Memorial Day.
Well, what was bizarre is in the very first one of those 3 little documentaries about the show, they talk about how in season 3 people are going to find out how he really didn't die in this fall, right? But they actually didn't really explain that any. I mean, that wasn't part of season 3. So I'm like, well, that sucks. They got to wait till next year now to get the end of this.
Yeah, Ruben said series 4 and 5 will be filmed back to back for the next year.
Oh, good lord!
Yeah,
This is what I hate about Netflix, right? Because on Netflix, you're a year behind that. By the time you get to damn next season, you've forgotten, you don't care about the show anymore, or you've heard it from everybody else so many times by then. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's like I lost track of True Blood somewhere in there too.
Well, there is always the torrents. You can just download every episode as it comes out.
There's that. I suppose that's true. So, reading the other side.
I ever did that.
There was a great. I saw a YouTube
Just as
video.
just a disclaimer: the host of the show doesn't necessarily share the opinions of some.
I saw this cute YouTube the other day. It was somebody had done a mock-up. I don't know if it was a Saturday Night Live. It looked like it was. And what they had done is it was the old Star Trek, right, episode, the Bridge of the Star Trek Enterprise, but with the cast from Friends. So it was like Frasier's dad was there as sort of well, I don't know what he was. I don't know if he was captain or if he was Mr. Spock. I don't know what he was supposed to be. They're talking about Eddie running. Eddie was there, the little dog. And it was just like so freaking bizarre. I don't know if they had one of the guys from Big Bang on there as well. Yeah, it was actually pretty cute.
I haven't watched TV in years.
Oh, heavy man, we got a guy. You got to get you a TV or something.
Well, I had a TV, and
okay.
All I used it for was to watch DVDs.
Yeah, well, that's me too.
TV blew a fuse, and I said, nah, it's good.
Yeah, you gotta go get you a little Roku box and get you a little Roku box and hook that up, baby, and stream your Netflix and your Amazon and
How long have you been without a TV, Heavy?
Oh,
they were still showing The Honeymooners when it broke, wasn't it?
Probably. To the moon.
To the moon, Alice. And nobody else in the room is going, what? Never mind.
It's been about 6-7 months.
That's not dang bad. Okay.
Well, see, the thing is, I have cable on my computer, but I never had cable on the TV where I'm at now.
I don't. Yeah, I can understand.
I'm trying for my geek license.
But that's what I said. Go get a Roku box. It's $99, and then you don't need cable. I mean, all you need is the internet connectivity to your TV and the Roku box, and you stream all of these things.
Oh, I have more fun on the internet.
You'd be all set. Well, I must admit I do too.
Or you could just simply save up $800, get a really good $600, build yourself a really good computer for that amount of money, and pretty much use your computer as your main entertainment device. All you got to do is simply hook your computer to your TV through an HDMI port. The TV does have an HDMI port. If it doesn't, get a really good one or a cheap one. For a Tiger Direct, like you can put a cheap monitor, like 32-inch monitor for about $200 about, Or if you want to get a TV, a really good TV, you can get I've got a 57-inch screen TV. It only cost me around $1,500 at Tiger Direct. And I'm using it as my monitor. I have my computer hooked up. I have my computer hooked up to my TV. All my game systems are hooked up to there. So yeah, there you go. Entertainment device galore.
Awesome. I don't know. I mean, some people they really need to learn how to be able to use computers more efficiently, because a computer can basically replace
most of your it can replace DVDs, it can replace Blu-ray devices. So there you go. Normal devices with that. If you need to, you can hook it up with your tablet, something with a Bluetooth device, or something a wireless device that hooks into USB, or some other port perhaps. That's always a possibility. And you can increase the amount of ports if you need more. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just that a lot of people on the net just don't seem to know how to use computers well.
I use mine like I do, and it's good for me. It's what I guess some people just like to have more stuff, like hooking up all the other stuff, but not me. I'm still trying to catch up, I guess.
Well, for the record here, I have a 5.1 surround sound, hooked up to my computer, and it's in the front room and all that stuff. So I'm smoking. So, yeah, just to give you an idea of my setup.
Have no art.
Well, I'm on a run. I think I'm gonna lay back down. I'm fighting off it.
What?
I'm fighting off an allergy.
You're fighting off a what?
Allergy.
Oh.
Certain kinds of dust I'm very allergic to, and I got exposed to some this weekend. And last night it really kicked my rear end. It takes it a while to build up.
Well, hey, if you're fighting off an allergy, my best suggestion is to fight it off with a 54 Magnum.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so, so my desk is a mess here, but okay, so let's see. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Nice.
So we got my little Google Hangout on the right. We're playing WoW on the bottom, and we got some Family Guy. Oh, I should have. Sorry about that. Let's. Yeah, my mouse is giving me heartache because of the WoW. But yeah, I should have maximized the Family Guy. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. That looks good. I like
all right.
Cannot
have too many monitors. That's just like the.
Is that your wife's station behind you?
Well, for me,
that's also mine.
Oh.
That's the one. Okay, so the tour, right? So that's my work, kind of my workstation there. I got my stereo and all that there. Then this is my Skype, my desk, my phone, that computer, my other crap on that one, and and then this one is sort of for testing and some for whatever else for clients, and so it keeps the room nice and toasty warm.
Oh, do you pull them in a little closer and do a Keith Emerson thing and start reaching from one keyboard to the other?
I tried that, but I'm blind as a bat, so I can't really see what I'm reading. I can't really do that anyway, so it doesn't work so well for me. Oh my! Sorry, let me redo this now.
Well, more monitors are great. I wish I could get some more, but the problem with that for me is that I personally, I'm pretty proficient in using just one, and most of the time I don't. And most of the time I can use the Windows pretty well off. So I guess I really just don't need more.
Well, I mean, I've had one for years. I got more than one because it's simply I'm a programmer by trade, and so I am constantly needing multiple windows open to look at different things at the same time, and I hate having to switch back and forth and flip back and forth because then I can't see the one I had before. So this way it's like, I put my SQL Server database up on the top monitor, I'll put some property windows on the right-hand side or debug windows on the right-hand side, and then my code window on the bottom.
Well, if you're
I don't have to flop around.
If you're a programmer by trade, having multiple windows open is pretty much a must. Like the only use I would have in multiple screens being open, I would have to say would be video editing, because I do some video editing.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But I usually just don't need it. So but what I'll probably end up doing is I'm going to be getting a laptop, and what I'll do is I'll hook up my laptop to my computer, to my TV here, and whenever I'm doing editing, I'll just have I'll just have like what's being shown, like what I'm editing on the TV while I edit everything else on my laptop. So
Yeah, I mean it gets to be too much. I'm actually going to buy two more monitors and bigger ones, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the 3 that are here now. I know one thing though, I don't want to have to put any more of those damn monitor holders into the studs in the wall. Good night. I thought my wrist was going to fall off by the end of the day trying to screw those babies in. Okay.
Anyway, I'll probably be back around somewhere looking for a place to hang out later. Y'all take care.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, Heavy. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, Hylas, welcome back.
You know, with me, I have like a perfect wall, like right over here. I could probably, if I probably wanted to, I could move everything over and place it and get a TV that hooks up onto the wall and put it up on there and all that stuff, you know. And have it really nice and neat. But the problem is that this fish tank would have to go. And my dad owns the fish tank, so I have to wait till he dies so I can get rid of the fish tank.
Fish tank, yeah, fish tanks. I wanted to put one in here, but it's just too hard to move them when you need to move. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I will also be back here in a little bit, but I'm starving, so we'll catch y'all a little bit later.
See ya.
Ciao.
Hi guys, this is James.
Hello, James.
Hi. So when I came in, you guys were talking about some religious.
Did everybody get kicked out also?
They all left. Yeah, everybody left. But
yeah, there was an error that came up. I was wondering if it affected everybody.
No. But yeah, I don't know if you guys wanted to continue the religious discussion. I see Hylas.
What's your take on it, James?
On which part of religion? I'm Christian.
Well, okay. Why is that, if I may ask?
Why am I Christian? I guess there are multiple reasons. So I believe the Bible, as it's written, has prophecies that are, I don't find them in any other religious text or anything like that to come true or to be reliable. So I think historically the Bible has proven to be consistent with prophecy. And the explanation of, let's say, the origin of life, I think makes more sense than what science currently would propose. When I say that, I mean that the origin of life would be non-living matter becoming living matter on its own, as opposed to intelligence creating life from the earth or from pre-existing matter. My own experiences following the Bible and what it says and the results consistent with what the Bible would say that would occur. So I don't find that, let's say, Hindu texts or the Quran or anything have reliability as far as going back historically as the foundations of how it was written, how it was kept, and authenticity. Not to say that the Bible is 100% like we know exactly who wrote every line of everything, but it's pretty strong foundations as far as the Bible goes. And I think scholarship shows that too. Historians and a lot more people are ready to debate the Bible than to go try to argue the validity of the Quran or something else. Nobody really cares about those other books, but the Bible, whether people believe in them or not, they find something intriguing about it. So that's why I'm a Christian. All those reasons.
Cool story, bro. So, Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I have a bar, so I'm going up and down, so I wasn't sure. So, cool story, bro. Where's your Nobel Prize?
What do I know about prize?
Dude, why are you being fucking rude, bro?
Yeah, what can I hear? I can't even hear him, what he said.
I said Nobel Prize. Where's your Nobel Prize, bro?
Don't be rude.
Yeah,
that's fucking mean, dude.
What was the question?
He gave a very good answer to why he's a Christian.
Well, can you repeat his question for me? I can kind of hear it.
He's just trolling you a little bit. He said, "Cool story, bro. Where's your Nobel Prize?"
Oh.
But James, you mentioned, you touched upon a couple of things. By the way, I'm John, by the way, and I don't know if we ever met before.
Hi, John. I think we met last time.
Okay, James. No, you touched upon a couple of things. One was prophecy and the creation, understanding the creation story as well. Mm-hmm. So first, Can you mute that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sorry. Okay. Are you under the? Do you believe the Bible is inerrant?
Yeah, no. No, I don't believe the Bible is inerrant.
Okay. Are there any specific like? So, okay, well, I have to ask you why, because no, it's unusual to come across a Christian, even when I was a Christian, that believes that the Bible wasn't inerrant. Because usually most Christians that I know believe it's inerrant.
Well, you can look at it's obviously written by man in quote unquote inspired by God. So let's say one verse says that God stopped the sun in the sky. So, this is a person writing a story about what they experienced when God made the day last longer. So from a scientific perspective, we would have to say that the Earth stopped spinning for 2 days as opposed to the sun stopping for 2 days, because obviously it's the Earth's rotation that gives the effect of the sun moving through the sky. So in that sense of errancy, it's man's understanding, and it's a documentation of experiences that people have had with God's hand in their lives and giving an account of that. And then there's also, let's say, you'll have two stories in the Bible. One will say that there were 50,000 chariots in Solomon's army, and then the other one says 5,000. And both of those can't be true. And so you either chalk it up to scribe error, or there are other words that show you that the math is a little different from how one guy's saying it to how the other guy's saying it, and they're separating it differently. But I would say that in the original writings, that the information from examples like that would have been accurate. But as far as today and scribe error and copyist errors,
so pretty much you say it's God's inspiration through man's perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Ruben said you're a non-Trinitarian Christian. So
correct.
Do you believe that Jesus is? I mean, I'm trying to get this. I'm kind of wondering how dogmatic are you, in a sense, as a Christian?
I just believe what the Bible says.
Jesus the only way to get to heaven?
Correct. Yes. So I believe that Jesus is the Son of God. I believe that. So I believe for Devin that just came back. The question for me was, why am I not a Trinitarian? Because I don't hold Trinitarian views, but I'm a Christian. So to answer your question, John, the Bible doesn't give us, I don't feel, information enough to say that Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit are one entity. And it actually gives us way too much information showing that Jesus was on the cross praying to God, that he referred to God as God, and that God is called God the Father, but you never have Jesus being called God the Son. That's a term that comes later on throughout history. But yeah, I absolutely believe Jesus came from God himself, his essence of, like if you or I have a child, they come from us, like from what we're made of makes them. So I do think Jesus comes from God in that sense. Almost like saying God pulled a piece of himself out, and that's Jesus. But yeah, no, I don't.
Immaculate Conception.
I don't believe that that's the beginning of Jesus' existence.
Real quick for the record, Immaculate Conception refers to Mary, not Jesus.
Well, I don't have a problem with.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Forgot a rule about my Catholic theology.
No, it's quite alright. A lot of people make that.
Even Mary had to be conceived, right, and of no sin or just of a virgin as well, to try to explain the deity of Christ as well. Not having any sinful nature in him.
It's basically a part of Catholic theology, where in which they say this is how Jesus can be born without sin.
Right.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people confuse Immaculate Conception with virgin birth. So
Okay.
don't worry, it's a common mistake that people tend to see.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an understanding of James's, perception of Jesus.
I know. I understand that. I want to ask him a question after you're kind of done with your little bit of prep.
No, I don't. No, Immaculate Conception and Mary being without sin. No, I don't need that to make sense of Jesus being a sinless person.
Okay, I guess it's my turn to ask a question. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. 'Cause, yeah, I'm trying to.
Sorry about that. Okay, so hold on for a second.
James, I guess you did. I just want to make sure you did intend to talk about these things, right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
absolutely.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to hack my brains out for a second. So
I like it, but I'll get Devin.
okay, so my first question is: you made a statement about you made a statement regarding the subject of the state of the original manuscripts. I'm kind of curious exactly how you can say with such confidence that what was recorded or what was said in those manuscripts when we don't really have the originals per se, you know.
You said, why can I be confident that the that those originals existed, quote unquote, or that they're authentic? Is that your question?
Not necessarily what I was asking. What I'm asking is, how can you be so sure about what the original said when we don't really have the originals to begin with?
I think it would go something like this. If I wrote something down right now, a long book of information, and people began copying that book. Let's say one guy copied it and another guy copied it, and they went to different parts of the country with that. And one guy decided to change what I said. The other guy just kept copying it as it was. You'd end up with two populations, one with the changes and the other one without the changes. And that's if you start right from the beginning. If you change right away. But what you have when these people were copying these books is for a while it's just a spreading of the original information. And then if somebody decides to change it, they're going to have to go back and get all the other copies and try to manipulate those.
Could you hold that thought? I gotta do something real quick. I'll be right back.
Absolutely.
James, if I may ask, how old are you?
26.
Okay, I'm 25.
Okay.
And how long have you been a Christian?
My family's Christian. My dad's pastor. All my uncles are pastors. But I guess I questioned religion myself, and then went to starting around 17, 18, and solidified my beliefs around then, 18, 19, 20.
Okay, I'm back now. Continue your thought process.
So yeah, it would be hard for somebody to get rid of all the other the copies that were descendant from the original, and then to change all those or eliminate them and start with a new original. You know what I mean? So I mean, Muslims were able to do that with their Quran. They were able to boil and burn all the or like 99% of the Qurans that were not in line with what they felt should have been the original composition of the Quran or the authentic composition. So they were able to get rid of, systematically other Qurans. But as with Christianity and textual criticism and looking through the documents, there's a system. There's a way to say, okay, this is probably what the original stated, but we do have some variability here. This might say this, and this verse might be added, or this might not be added. So, no, I'm not going to say that it's 100% sure about what every line of every verse of every book of the Bible originally said, but with a certain level of surety, you can say, okay, this is what it said.
Okay, a couple of issues I tend to have with that, if you don't mind me going through them.
Sure.
One of the first issues is that the comparison or the equivalency you're drawing from between Islam and Christianity aren't necessarily compatible, and here's why I say that is because, let's start off first with like Jesus. Okay, Jesus spoke was his primary way of communication. Let's say he didn't have 12 disciples necessarily. We don't have any indication whatsoever who Jesus was as a person. Oh, hold on for a second, real quick.
Okay.
Just so you know, James, I'm not an atheist, and I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong or anything like that. But I will ask you some questions, and
Sure.
and you seem like a very mature person, so I think that you'll take it very well. Can I ask, do you want there to be a God?
Do I want there to be God? And I think that, it's a trick question. Like, does your mom know you're gay? I think the wording "want." Do I want there to be a God? There has to be a God from my understanding of the world. It's not about whether I want it or not.
I'm just wondering if you had a choice and you could decide if there is a God or not. Not necessarily like what that God is or anything like that, but if you could decide for there to be a God, would you do that?
I mean, that's a strange question. I don't know how to answer that. Do I want there to be a God?
I'm just asking, would you rather there be a God than not be a God?
I don't know. I could go either way on that question. I could go for the personal reasons why I want there to be a God, and then selfish reasons, and then other reasons why I wouldn't and why I would.
So, yeah, sorry about that. And just real quick, I'm not necessarily saying that you're wrong here either. I'm simply just throwing out points and bouncing off, sort of bouncing off discussion points, if you would. So, anyways, like I was saying here, there isn't any indication that we know that. God damn it! A phone call. Shit. Who the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm. So did you intend to?
No, I'll tell. Hylas, you had something follow up from before? No. Okay.
Well, you can go ahead if you like.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to leave soon, and I'm gonna stop the broadcast. But you guys can continue chatting on off air. But I wanted to ask James. I guess I'm gonna have to pull up a window here. So James, do you believe? Let me just question about the prophecies. Do you hold that the ones in Isaiah or some or all of the ones that supposedly for the messianic prophecies of Jesus, you hold to that belief?
Do I hold that the messianic prophecies in Isaiah are applied to Jesus?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can we look at Isaiah chapter 9?
Sure. If you want to paste
Sorry, actually, well, there is one in 9. Maybe I believe it's 7. Yeah, Isaiah. So let's look at Isaiah 7 first.
Okay. You can paste it in.
Oh, okay. Do you like any particular version?
We can do NASB.
Okay. I first started with NIV, then started try to get into King James, because I wanted to do word studies, with the concordance and stuff. But then I was told that New American Standard is supposed to be one of the closest translations. I think some would argue the New Revised as well. I think it was, but I never read that version. Okay. Verse 10.
Okay.
Then the Lord spoke again to Ahaz. Sorry if I messed it up. Saying, ask a sign for yourself from the Lord your God, make it deep as Sheol or high as heaven. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, nor will I test the Lord. Then he said, listen now, O house of David, is it too slight a thing for you to try the patience of men, that you will try the patience of my God as well? Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin will be with child and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. I'm sure you've heard that the word virgin there is translated to Almar, or young woman.
Correct.
Okay. So, which would not necessarily mean she's virgin, meaning never had sex before.
Correct.
No? Okay. Well, then, can you see the problem then if that's a prophecy of Jesus being born of a virgin, someone who didn't have sex or was sinless? How can he be like sinless? I guess. I mean, you don't believe he's God, right? But he would have to be sinless, no, to take on a sacrifice for the sins. You have to have no blemish.
What? I'm not understanding the.
Well, I mean, for Jesus' sacrifice, for me to need Jesus, I need Jesus, right, to pay for my sins, right?
Right.
You know, but it isn't the sacrifice is to be without blemish, no?
Right.
Sinless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how could Jesus have been sinless if he's born of possibly of a woman who has sin? There's a sinful nature there.
Well, Mary did have a sinful nature. First of all, she was not a sinless person. So I've never had the understanding that Mary was sinless.
Okay.
So Jesus, and who he is, as far as this verse that you're pointing to, I thought you were going to go somewhere else.
I am going to go somewhere else. I just figure address the virgin issue.
Okay. Okay, so then I'll go with the question you asked. Jesus doesn't have to be born from a virgin to be sinless. I don't know where the Bible says that. He doesn't have to be born from a sinless person.
Well, I'm taking in the other theology. Well, I'm figuring how can something sinless come from something that has sin? I mean, if everyone's born of sin, do you believe in original sin, that we're born wicked and we need salvation?
No.
I guess I have to clarify that as well.
No, not in the sense that when you're born, you are a sinner. Born into sin, that idea is that as a human, you're going to eventually choose sinful things because of the flesh. You will eventually succumb. But no, right when you're born, you're not already condemned to hell. That's not what is presented. So Jesus doesn't succumb to the flesh in that sense, the way everybody else would.
So
Okay.
at what point does the flesh become sinful then? When the baby commits its first transgression? Correct.
I would say whatever that they call it, age of accountability. But I don't know if I don't know what that really means. But I guess it's a good way of looking at it. There's some point where your actions, bad actions would be looked at as sinful. I don't know what that age is or what that time is.
So I'm trying to understand this because I'm trying to get because it is my understanding that all are born into having a sinful nature. I mean, that was the teaching when I was a Christian. You were born. You're born of flesh, so by default, it's sinful.
Absolutely, you have a sinful nature, but you're not a sinner right when you're born because you haven't done anything. Okay. You haven't committed a sin. It's like having to. It's like that baby would have to present a sacrifice if it was in Israel, right? Right when he's born, it's like, wait a minute, what sin is he providing a sacrifice for? He hasn't done anything yet. So God wouldn't be like, well, you're still a sinner. No, that's not what it is. It's saying that in your nature, you're going to choose sin. Just there's nobody who's going to live their life and just not sin because of the
except
flesh.
For Jesus.
Except for Jesus. And so obviously, him being the Son of God, him having God's word in his heart, in the sense of God is speaking to him in that certain way, he's obviously got a lot more of a head start than everybody else. He has more of a chance of not doing that, not sinning.
But then, wouldn't he still have to be a God man to even get taught to be able to do this?
Well, that's why he doesn't have an earthly father. He's the son of God.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back. Okay. I just hope Moore's law is done fucking with me is all.
What's that?
So
What's the matter, Devin?
what?
His phone kept
Matter,
ringing.
Devin?
Devin is saying he hopes his phone doesn't keep ringing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk to you because I have to get going soon. So I was, take the conversation. I went to a different way, trying to go towards the prophecy here, and how Jesus, fulfills a prophecy or not. But I'm having, I don't know. See, I still have the problem. If Mary is okay.
Where
How
does the
does
Bible?
the
Yeah.
perfection come out of the imperfection? If you agree that Mary was sinful,
Mhm.
right? How does the perfect come conceived from that?
Okay, so I'll put it.
Perfect human being. How could any flesh live a perfect life if flesh in itself is supposed to be sinful? Unless you believe in this, Jesus was like, not flesh, just appeared to be flesh idea.
If
That's
if,
not of hell.
if Jesus would have just been a normal person, born a normal way, he wouldn't have been able to do that. But obviously, he's the son of God in an earthly body, and so he has to wash himself. He has to brush his teeth, I'm sure, or do all this other stuff. But yeah, he didn't succumb to sin because he wasn't just a man. Even though he was fully man, he wasn't just a man. So that's why he doesn't fall into that same category the rest of us would, being born of humans.
Okay.
So
I'm so pressed for time for this, but I guess if we don't get to it, the rest of the rest of the verse, I guess I would address Emmanuel. He was supposed to be called Emmanuel, and we have nothing mentioned. Devin, you're mute. Devin.
Yes.
Can you mute? All right. I'm sorry, and I gotta get going too. My wife just got home. We're supposed to go eat and go see a movie. I guess if you could look at, and then we'll talk about later. The other 2 points I would make would be about Emmanuel not being mentioned in the New Testament, and then if we're going to take things in context, we're going to verse 15. If this is supposed to be Jesus, talks about him eating curds and honey. At a time before knowing to refuse evil. So these would be the next two verses would be, I would like to address that, but I can't even talk about it, and this is frustrating because I really would like to.
I can get back to it.
All right, but at this point, though, I'm going to stop the broadcast. Anyone else wants to have any questions or if you want to talk, guys, be civil. I left the room in charge to Ruben and Adam. So you guys have a good night, and maybe I'll catch up with you later.
Have a good one.